All right, so today I'm going to be doing my presentation on Alan Watts. He's a philosopher rather than a philosophy or ethic. I hope that's okay. Um, Alan Watts was born January 6th, 1915, in Chislehurst, London, England. He died November 16th, 1973, in Mount Tamalpais, California. He was a philosopher influenced heavily by religion, including Buddhism and Zen teachings, and later on Christianity. He did ultimately switch back to Buddhism and Zen teachings. Though most of his work is religiously based, he would not regard himself as a religious man, even though he was in teaching to be a Zen monk and he was even ordained as a priest. It was more so just in the pursuit of knowledge rather than actually being involved in the religion. He is best known for his disdain of the way society makes you perceive yourself and others. His literature. Um, Watts published over 25 books during his lifetime and even more posthumously. He also has a lot of audio and video lectures that are available. He sought to bring traditionally Eastern teachings into the mainstream West. Uh, a great majority of his works were religiously based, the earlier works being Zen or Buddhist, and the later works moving to Christian basis before, once again, ultimately going back to being Buddhist or Eastern Asian. He sought to explain societal misgivings about how we view ourselves and others, and ultimately just the way we see our lives. Um, his takeaways. One of his takeaways being reality versus narrative, something that we as a society are seeing a lot of today, the difference between reality and narrative, between fact and opinion, which is a very important distinction to be made. In his book, The Way of the Zen, he cites that from the many happenings of your life, why would you let someone else take a few of those, cite them as significant, and affect how you see yourself? You are the one that holds the facts, your memories, and therefore only you have the ability to perceive yourself. Another one of his takeaways being the dangers of overthinking. He has a famous quote about a toad and a centipede, which goes like, "The centipede was happy quite, until a toad in fun said, 'Pray, which legs goes after which?' This worked his mind to such a pitch, he lay distracted in a ditch, considering how to run." Uh, this is to the effect of, why would you let the words of someone else, keep you from doing what it is you need to do? In the centipede's case, why would you let the words of the toad keep you from doing what it is you need to do, which is obviously run away from the toad? All right. Another one, the complexity of the human body. Um, we call our bodies complex as a result of us giving up on how to try to explain it in ways that we can explain. It is not our bodies that are complex, but the way that we try to understand them that is complex. Lastly, we have the issue of anxiety. He hypothesizes that our anxiety is caused by our predisposition to live for the future, which causes us to be unable to fully enjoy the present because the future is not certain enough. Um, his later switch to Christianity. He left his formal training as a Zen monk because he didn't like the way his teacher taught. From there, he went to a theological seminary in Illinois, where he was awarded a master's for his thesis. He was ordained as a priest in 1945, aged 30, but 5 years later, in 1950, he had resigned. Um, he cited this due to his inability to make peace with both his Buddhist beliefs and those of the church. More than likely, it was that the church cut him loose after he had a marriage annulled over an affair. The later years of his life, upon his split from the church, he returned to previously mentioned Zen ideals, more so just Eastern Asian as a whole. His last great work was Tao: The Watercourse Way, which is actually released posthumously, which focused on some of the more difficult to perceive issues such as governance and freedom, sexuality, and the abuses of technology. Um, in the book, he uses Taoism to take views on our modern society, to which he finds that ambition is the enemy of man. Ambition is our desire to focus on what we cannot immediately control, but we as people find peace in things that we can immediately control. Um, he also states that basic faith in government involves taking risks, risks that they will somehow wrong you or take your rights away, etc. But without taking risks, there is no freedom. And then we have my references page. Thank you.